But first, I want to go over right here to TFNN.com. Now, every Monday, and it is a beautiful Monday today. We're going to be off on Wednesday. It's the new year. Time to, kind of focus on what we want to do. Let's go over to the newsletters tab right now. This is a great time to check out. If you want to get into trading, or maybe, you want someone right by your side, or however that works, whatever makes sense for you, I would suggest taking a look at our newsletters tabs. Our services are great as well, but I want to put into focus today mastering probability. I think one of the most difficult things for myself in the morning to get organized before I place trades or look into some stuff is just kind of seeing what the macro overview is of things, or maybe even a more granular look at certain equities. That is why I really like reading Mastering Probability in the morning. Now, I strongly recommend checking this out. Steve Rhodes, I just like his analysis. I think it's very unique. I think he finds stuff that other people aren't looking at, and I find it extraordinarily informative. I want to say, if you have never subscribed to Mastering Probability, you can do so risk-free. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee on all of our newsletters here right at TFNN.com. So check it out. It is the new year. Let's get trading. Steve Rhodes, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jacob. How about yourself today?
I'm doing well, kind of in a weird holiday kind of torpor, I think. But the new year, I'm very hyped for it. I'm interested to see what the market brings us. How are you doing?
Doing good, but now you scared the heck out of me. Did I hear you say 21 degrees somewhere in Florida?
That's what this chart is telling us, Steve.
For when?
So it's supposed to be in 2 weeks. I think they're saying January 11th or something like this.
No kidding.
Yeah, okay. So massive polar vortex is going to hit us. We have to cover our arbicolas, Steve.
Absolutely. Well, I hope it doesn't come, and if it does, I hope that Lake Okeechobee just simply stops that cold weather and it doesn't slide all the way down here. But hey, you were discussing an instrument. I thought maybe we would just simply start there.
I like
not anything that I know anything of or what have you. And I'm agnostic to what it is that we're looking at when I take a look at the charts, because the patterns that I use, it wouldn't matter what we throw up here. As long as I've got data, I can narrate what the charts are communicating to us. And this one's specific. There's about 3 or 4 different topping patterns that I use. So I make it pretty simple as far as teaching subscribers and traders what to be looking for. It's interesting. You said that I have a different view on the markets.
Yes.
And I can remember a compliment and then a not so compliment that was paid to me at one point in time. This is by a woman that I dated for a long period of time. and she said to me, the reason that she really didn't care for me, so to speak, was because I thought differently. And then the woman that I'm married to, she says, you know what I love about you? You think differently. just to screw up us guys or what have you.
I think it is great. Some of the best alpha, really, in my opinion, can be caught by thinking outside the box on some of this stuff and looking at things that other people aren't. I think it is a fantastic quality to have.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And I always thought it was a unique way to be able to, to live life, is to not necessarily think like others. But in this case here, back to RCAT, it's kind of jumping around here. So if we take a look at, it's got unique patterns. It's showing topping signals on the daily, weekly, and the monthly time frame. So if we look at a daily time frame, it actually has 2 different tops that formed on Friday. One was a TD9 count pattern, and the other was a Rhodes Momentum Indicator signal. Now, we take a look at my chart on the left-hand side. What we'll see is that price found support today at that little squiggly green line. That squiggly green line is referred to as an oscillator and change line. That's representing the difference between the 19 to 39 period exponential moving average of price out here. And what's really great is the line is either green or red on my screen out there. And when it's green, it tells you that conditions are bullish, period. Now, we trade above profile resistance levels, and that was at 1041. That's also a bullish signal. So we've got a bearish pattern, yet I'm saying that the technicals are showing us bullish signals. So when you form a top, when the market forms a top, the only thing it's done is it wants to get back and test support. So the daily time frame so far for RCAT has done that successfully. What it hasn't done is take out resistance. If it was to close above The high from a couple days ago, December 26th, that high is 1491. It'll negate that signal and tell us about a further move to the upside. The weekly time frame is slightly behind, and that last week it formed bar number 8 of a TD9 count. When I refer to the TD9 count, something that I teach subscribers out there, and it's easy to learn. Everybody should know this pattern out here. The high of that pattern needs to form bars 8, 9 of the bar following bar number 9. You've got to get to at least bar number 9 out there. And that's going to form this week on Friday inside of RCAT. So whether it takes out the high from last week or not, it'll have a TD9 count top as well. Now, in its case, what price should do is pull back towards the 936 level. Interestingly enough, coming into the day tomorrow, the monthly time frame chart is going to have a completed TD9 count top as well. So anybody that was thinking about chasing this instrument here, I would be very careful.
Yeah.
Now, if these patterns fail, the daily first closes above that TD9 count pattern, slightly different outcome, but still you've got the weekly and the monthly to pay attention to. So this thing's been a bit of a rocket ship. I wouldn't suggest that anybody chase it, certainly not unless these patterns were to fail. So I was just going to throw that out. I didn't have a ton of planned. I do have some things that I wanted to take a look at and share with folks. But do you have any questions about this set of charts or anything else that you would add to RCAT?
No, I personally don't. I think, well, one thing I can say with definitely like stocks like RCAT as well, one of the things I like looking at is kind of like the retail sentiment on a lot of these guys, because retail has a lot of money that they are floating in. I mean, we've seen stuff with like CLSQ and WiseKey and even CTM to some certain extent, Castellum, which is one I've been kind of looking at over the past few days. I mean, retail sentiment can drive these companies up pretty significantly, sure, right? That allows them to dilute, right? Get some cash and kind of expand out, Personally, for me, I would say with Red Cat today, I mean, you're making pretty big highs, right? You're at 1491 today. You have a market cap of 1.1 billion. They had very abysmal earnings, but because they were able to get some money from this massive rise in their equity, they were able to make a partnership with Palantir and keep going on, right? So I can kind of see maybe some kind of sell-off at these levels. But overall, I think Red Cat, until something, some other news comes out, somewhat bullish on the stock. For me, I think it's a little expensive at its market cap and at its kind of revenue. But it's interesting to me, and that's why I like, having you on, because you take a look at these kind of technicals and it helps me get a better picture as well,
Yeah. In this instance here, it's not something to chase, at least not just yet. It looks like you're going to get, daily, weekly, monthly kind of pullback or retracement out there. One of the things I was kind of searching around this afternoon, what is it that I could share with folks that are out there as we come into the last trading day of the year? And what I really like is when, no matter what time frame, and I've got the 15-minute time frames up for the equity future contracts. And what I really like is when everything is in unison, when all four of these instruments are giving you the same message. I think that it provides us with a ton of information. Now, this morning, I was doing the show at 11 o'clock, didn't get on until 11:30 because of technical issues here. But if I take a look at the 15-minute time frame and take a look at this morning's bottom, how did they form? They were Rhodes momentum indicator bottom patterns. They formed between about 10 and 10:45 out there. But each of them also formed a top, and they all did it at the same time with this TD9 count top. Folks, tonight, if you look at futures and the ES Mini is traded about 5990.25, it's going to rally further. In the NQ, it's 21,567. Dow futures, it's 41,300, and Russell 2000, it's 22,5740. If price starts trading above those levels, we're going to see a further rally overnight.
Fantastic. I believe we're also going into the ad right now. Steve, thank you so much for coming on.
You bet.
Really appreciate it. Take care. Happy New Year's.